Hello everyone, welcome to a new video in React Basics learning series. In the previous video, we were working on the action buttons and I added a new button in the actions. So as part of that, I added certain uh, icons for the edit and after adding that button, the pending part was implementing the handler. At this point, this handle action button click seems bit ambiguous. So rather I would rename this to handle completed action complete, something like that. So let's select these. You can use Control D in the Windows, Command D in Mac for doing multi-selection. Uh, so let's rename this button handle complete task action button click. And this one will be a different name, handle edit task action button click. And this handle edit also we need to pass it as a prop, so let's add that in the prop list. If you're not aware about React props and how it works, please go back and watch the series from start so that you will get idea around what is a React prop. Okay, so once you add these, we need to have this edit task action button handler uh, in the place where like basically we are using this task component. So we need to refactor all those places. So let's go and see where we are using this task. So if you remember, we are using this in to-do app.js and it is here in the to-do app folder. So we created a component for to-do app and within that we are using this task. The task is used at two different places. One is for completed task and other one is for the newly created tasks that we have. Okay, so now what we can do is for the completed task anyways we don't need that action, so we don't need to do any changes. uh, for the other one, uh, for the to do task list we need to have it, so let's go and do that change. So here we renamed this handler, so here also you need to rename this prop. And this is fine like this name because this particular function is defined here itself, so we don't need to do any changes. If you want you can rename that as well so that it looks consistent. So let's go back and do a multi selection, use Control D for selecting both of them and do Control V. That's it, we renamed it for completed action button click. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need to add a handler for this edit task action button click. So let's copy this particular handler and go back to our to do app.js, and in the to do app.js I will be adding this handle edit task click, and let's add the handler, but this handler is not defined yet here, so you need to create a handler. Let's create a new handler. So again, for editing the task also you need the index. So in the function basically in the handler we need to have this index as a input parameter. And then how you are going to implement the edit. So basically what essentially it means is you have a list of to do tasks, and for a given index you want to change the basically the entry. So we need to find that particular like at that index basically we can just replace the entry. It is as simple as that with the new string whatever we get, right? Okay. Also, in this case, we need to think about adding a input box as well, because until we don't have a input box, how do you get to know the new value for the task? So, okay, let's do one thing. So, what we can do is like when you click on edit, right, we can surface one input box here. Uh, Rather than showing this entire text we can change it to input box, and once user basically also then we need a button to make sure user is able to save it. So basically we need to change the view a little bit here. Okay, let's go and try to do that. So first of all, whenever user clicks on that button, this button, we need to show a input box. So let's see how we can add that input box here. Let's give a value and placeholder is not needed. Okay, so the value for this input will be, let's create a state variable, const edit input or edit text, and the setter will be set edit text. Okay, and use state is the hook we need to use. And the next thing that we need to do is we can initialize it with the task itself. So whatever is the value of task is what will be shown in the input. Now once you have this input, you can use this edit text here, and we need to also write on change handle task edit. So let's copy this and create a handler. Okay, in this handler basically handle task change, or you can call it, because it is on change handler, so um, handle task, let's name it handle task change. Okay, once you are done with that, basically we will be getting the event here, and you can use the setter. So if, not if, just set edit text and event dot target dot value will have the value which is there in the input. So whenever there is a change in this input, basically we want to update the value, and for that we are using this setter method. And whenever there is a change, this handler will be called, and this handler will set the value for the this state variable, and that should be good enough to have a updated state data. Once you are done with these changes, also this input should be visible only when you click on edit, right? So once you click on edit, we want to make sure that input becomes visible. So let's do that. So let's create one more handler, const handle edit button click, and I will be implementing this. So as part of this, again we need to use one more state variable. Let's create a constant and give it a name. So it depends on like, okay, so for this task, so what we can do is let's call it is input, or rather is edit input visible, and again we need to write a setter, set is edit input visible. Okay, and here also we need to use state, and by default it will be false. Why I'm setting it false? Because when you load the to-do list items, you don't want to show the input, because user is not editing the values at that point. And then on the click handler, what we can do, like here on click, let's call let's create a new method, handle um, edit button click, which is already there. So on this click we will be calling this, and what this will do is set is edit input visible to true, which means we want to make this input visible. And for that, one more thing that we need to do is so here I will be basically, okay, let's use this small braces, and here this becomes visible only when uh, your is edit button input visible is true, right? So it would look something like this, because this is a okay condition. So whenever this particular flag is set to true, I want to make sure this input box is visible. And once this input box becomes visible, uh, basically also we can hide the edit action as well, and completed action. So whenever this is visible, we don't want to show these buttons. So let's add that logic also. So is this logic is getting bit complicated. In some of the upcoming lectures I will plan to refactor this code so that it looks more cleaner, but for now bear with me. uh, okay, so whenever this is not visible, then only we want to show these buttons, right? uh, okay, so let's copy the same logic. Whenever this is not visible, then show the button. Okay, and that's it. We have at least set the visibility properly. So let's go and click on this. So whenever you click on this, those two buttons get hidden and you see a input box here. And now basically we need something more in order to basically update the task whenever the input change, we are done with the input change. So let's add one more button, and basically for now I will be using a button similar to the completed task. So whenever I am done with change, I will be clicking on this button. Okay, it is showing error. Okay, so this is how it looks. Let's add react fragment and alt and up arrow for moving this. Also you want to add the button as well. So again, that issue was because we did not add any root component, root wrapper, and we were adding these two JSX elements directly inside this. Okay, so once you have this, also this handler would be a bit different. So uh, let's add one more handler and call it handle update to do task. So this one will be triggered on click of your button that we have added in front of the input. So this is the button, and whenever you click on this button, I want to basically uh, fill like whatever value that we have filled, right, in the input box, that should be updated in the it should be updated, and then ideally we should get rid of like this input, and these two things get hidden automatically, and we should have again the old item, task item. uh, that's it for this video. I will create a new video for completing this particular task, so stay tuned and I will see you soon. Thank you so much.